Hey guys, welcome to PitchItTO. We're going to get started, so we'll let everybody kind of make their way in, which is great. I think we're... Okay, welcome. So, kind of exciting, different show today, and the reason being is that today is our 20th show, which is our PitchItTO's number 10, so it's kind of cool. We're officially 1 year old now, I guess, or next month we'll be a year old, and we've been running these events to help and promote startups and work with entrepreneurs. And I can say that in the past year that we've been working and helping with startups, I'm not sure how many people have attended or how many startups, but I think it's somewhere in the thousands of people have attended the events, and we've been working with close to 100 startups have come through, or close to, I think, maybe 80 startups so far have pitched through the system, which is pretty cool. And I owe it to you guys for making your way here all the time to come see the startups mingle and learn more from all the startups and what they're doing. And some of the great feedback that I've heard from other entrepreneurs that have come to the room is that not only do they get to learn from the people pitching and get better at their own skills on pitching, but they get to meet a lot of like-minded individuals that are also doing the same hustle to figure out how to make their business work and grow. And all of that kind of comes back together full circle when you're helping each other. So our whole mantra is that entrepreneur helping entrepreneurs. So I appreciate everybody for coming and all your insights and helping everybody while you work your way through. So thank you guys. I'm just plugging in the clicker. Okay, so for interest's sake and for fun, you guys can hashtag PitchItTO, post any photos and connect with us online. That would be amazing, always helpful. All the channels that you can think of from a social perspective, we're certainly on them, and we promote and push everything. One of the changes that we've made after a year is that we were filming our events live, and we decided that we wanted to get better quality because of the fact that we are working with the startups, and we want to be able to go through the footage. We're getting a lot of requests for, hey, I just finished pitching, can I get a cut of my video? And we've been editing them and making sure that they do come across better so that you can see what things you can work on to improve on. So we want to make sure that that all comes across. So we decided to stop filming it live and bring the quality up, and that's how we're now operating. So you won't be able to watch it live, but hey, it works out better this way. So you can follow us on all these great channels. So one of the things that we've stuck to as our mantra over the time is that we want to spend less time finding money, you guys spending less time finding money and spending more time building your company. And how do we make that work? Well, you have a list of advisors that are here, plus the network. We work to help you guys work harder at your business, and we spend the time in the background trying to help you find those dollars. And I wouldn't say that it happens overnight, but it certainly does happen, and we're excited to work that part of the business. Some of all the great startups that have pitched, you can see there's lots of great brands, some that are notable, that you've seen that have started to grow in the community. Some are startups very early on, and others have started to make way into the big world of business, which is awesome. So we're pretty excited that we've been able to work with lots of different companies here. And hopefully one day you'll all get to see your logo on here. It might be really small at that time if as it continues to grow, but maybe we'll find a way to make it look better. So some of the things that have come up that are pretty exciting as the next stages as we're growing and moving, some of the things that we've done. We just finished recently, yesterday, filming the Up series with Jonathan Hamilton, which was in Whitby, which was pretty awesome. And then we have, obviously tonight, we have the next, or the Up series, and Y2 that are running in October in the Durham region. Pitch at York on October 24th. PitchItTO again on the 26th. And we have Base Camp, which is running with York Angels from November 1st to 3rd, which is another great event. We're also going to be hosting in November a founders lunch. And the details will start to get pushed out from in the next couple weeks. And the idea behind that is that we're going to have one speaker come in that's going to talk and give you guys some great insights. That mystery speaker at this point in time, I won't lie, it's because I haven't found one yet because I haven't figured it out. I don't want to hide anything. But the idea is that we can all gather around, have a good conversation over lunch and find a way to communicate and figure out if there's ways to help each other. Because really, at the end of the day, there's a lot of startups working in a lot of different verticals, but there's also a way that we can connect and find ways to help each other. Some verticals work and cross-pollinate and don't even realize they're working in the same field. So some of the great sponsors that we've started to work with, some that have come in, some that are here since day one, we want to thank them. And those sponsors are Hard Boot, Flow Water, which is the water you guys are all drinking. They're going to be coming up today. Systembind, which is our software hosting company. They host a lot of the different businesses that we operate and work with, which is great. Miller Thompson, they're the legal platform that helps everything that we do. And of course, The Lodge, which is Ron and Diane, who run this great facility that we're all part of and get to mingle in. So thank you, everybody. And I'm going to have Mustafa come up and just chat quickly from the Hard Boot side.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Guys, it's the 20th session. It's a big deal, so we're going to scream. A little louder for that one, please. 20th session, we're going to scream. Perfect. Just going to keep it really short and simple. I wanted to come up and touch on Hard Boot, just give you guys a little bit background knowledge. So my name's Mustafa. I'm going to make a bad joke right now. Some people think Lion King Mufasa. I said, you know what, may as well make it the Land King since we're in tech. So there's the bad joke. We can laugh now, and that's over with. So basically, just a little bit background on Hard Boot. It's this month actually we're going on our 10-year anniversary. So again, another scream. And we started out with Hard Boot, mostly direct to agency, then started doing direct to consumer, where essentially we're in design and development. And it's Hard Boot is founded by Jeffrey Potvin. And it's seen a lot of successes. We've been able to carve out a nice little niche in the market with essentially rescue projects, and I'm really proud to be part of this organization. I'm pretty new to the organization, but it allows me to get involved with the startup community at events like this. So just wanted to welcome everybody. It's really nice to see these familiar faces also at the events. Jeffrey, I wanted to touch on him a little bit because he tends to not like to talk about himself very much, so I thought I'd make him blush tonight a little bit, and just wanted to really just explain a little background on Jeffrey, where he comes from an entrepreneurial background. He's really has a relentless passion for the entrepreneurial community, and just everything that I've seen, I'm really happy to be working with him. And essentially, he's for those of you who don't know, he's actually an angel investor in many regions in the GTA as well. He also does part-time teaching at Seneca College, as well as he does some mentorship through some accelerators as well through Seneca's Helix. So just if you guys are in the room after the events, Jeffrey's a great guy to get to know. If you have a business, pitch it to him, let him know where you're here, what you need, and we'll try and get you guys connected.
Okay, thank you. And
Can we add on to that?
No. That was enough. I didn't even introduce myself. My name's Jeffrey Potvin. I always forget that. So yes, hey, thank you for coming. All right, so we'll jump into the format. Why we're all here. It's about you guys. So the pitch event is pretty straightforward. We try and mirror 100% of how it works. Okay, I wouldn't say 100%. 98% of how it works in an angel investment meeting. So what we did is we came up the magic number, which is magic 11. So you have 11 minutes to pitch. And we structure everything around this 11 minutes. And the idea is come across, build enough information that you can get the audience excited about what you're doing, and of course, get the angels excited because their interest level is, I want to invest in this company. So you have 11 minutes to pitch. Then we go into the advisors, which are these three gentlemen sitting here. The advisors have 1 minute each to give you critical feedback on your business. It's not going to be all roses. The whole thing is about giving you critical feedback. There'll be some nice things. I've never seen Frank say anything nice yet, but he will tonight, I'm sure.
Simon Cowell.
But the idea is that you're going to get the learning. And the startups, they can't say anything. The idea is that they thank you, they take the information. If not, we'll be here all night. The idea is take the feedback, register it, go look at the video later, but at least it's going to help you grow. And the idea is that you're going to grow so the next time you get into a pitch or you get in front of the angels, you're going to be ready to make sure you capture every dollar. Then it's going to go to the audience for 5 minutes. And that 5-minute Q&A, you guys come up with the questions that you want to ask to help them. Because one day you might be standing up here, and those crucial questions are going to be beneficial. So think about it and come up with something good. That's a lot of stress for you guys, right? You're like, oh my God, I got to have a good question. But either way, it'll work out well. If you guys haven't put your business cards in, please do so, because we do have a draw. We do try to help feed and give back. And we have T-shirts with my best 11 on it. So it's all about the 11, man. 1-1. And of course, in case you forget the pitch hashtag, you'll never with the T-shirt. So the advisors that are going to be helping you guys today, we're going to start with Frank. So Frank owns a company called Vitalize Business Development, Business Growth. He's an angel in multiple regions. He's also an angel with multiple portfolios. So he's a deep investor. He really enjoys this, does this 24/7, and that's something that makes a difference when you are looking for someone to help you invest in a company. We all do this 24/7, but you get where I'm coming from. So he takes good care in that. The next is Patrick Doyle on this side. Patrick's also an angel investor in the Durham region, and he's an owner of Performer Promotional Products, and a great guy, knowledgeable, knows his things, and again, he's going to provide you with a lot of deep insights into what's going on inside of the startup world. And next we have Murat, who's in the middle. And Murat is an investor, entrepreneur with Good News Ventures. They own a venture fund, but at the same time, he's a York Angel investor. So Murat comes with a lot of experience and a lot of years as well in the investor community and entrepreneurial side. So you guys have three great entrepreneurs that are going to provide you guys with some great insights. So let's welcome him here. And the chair of, is it Angel One? York Angels chair. Yeah, I knew that. Oh, man, why didn't I say that? See, there's just so much running up here. So much running. So today what we've done is we did something a little bit different because it's been, as I mentioned, 1 year. So we thought, well, how can we kind of give back some more learning? And there's lots of stuff that we do that we want to entice learning inside of this whole meetup. So today we have a company that first pitched with us a year ago, and that's Greece. So Greece is going to come and give you an update and a pitch on where they're at now and what they're doing, which is really exciting. Senior Care, they're going to be starting us off. Ribbit, who's going to be coming up, they're in the back. Rover, they're an update as well. So they've pitched through PitchItTO a few times, and they're really exciting, and now they're going to give you an update on where they're at and where they're going as well in the last year. So that's pretty cool. And of course, one of our sponsors, Flow Water, they've been working with us as well for over the last year, and they're going to come up with an update and give you an idea of where their business has come from. And we're going to get a little bit from Ontario Centers of Excellence, which is the OCE. And what we're doing with this is that we want to make sure that you guys understand the ecosystem and areas where you can look for funding and how that funding works. Because at the end of the day, we're all here for the same common goal, grow our businesses and figure out where those low-hanging fruit are and where the money is that can help me get to that place. So without further ado, why don't we start it off, and we will have Crystal come on up.
About 5 years ago, working as a social worker in hospital, I met Susan, whose elderly father had just had a mild stroke. He had partial paralysis on his left side, so he needed help with the most basic tasks, like getting dressed or even going to the washroom. The doctors told Susan that, unfortunately, There was nothing more they could do for her father in hospital. And because the hospital was over capacity, Susan was told her father would be discharged in the next few days. Now, Susan's father living at home alone was no longer an option. But neither was living with Susan, as she didn't have the space, she worked full-time, and she had 3 young children. So she thought to herself, what are my options, and where do I even begin searching? Susan was now even more stressed out. This was an all too common scenario I would experience, seeing families distraught over trying to find the most appropriate care for their aging loved ones. In fact, in Canada, 74% of caregivers report symptoms of distress, such as anxiety or worry. With a lack of knowledge about the healthcare system, many unfamiliar care options, limited time, and the pressure to want to make the right decision, families easily become overwhelmed. So from these experiences, the problem became clear. Families, despite current solutions, were still having great difficulty finding care for their loved ones. So I thought to myself, there has to be a better way to help these families, a way to create some type of one-stop resource where they could search various care options, but in one location, but yet still have access to professional guidance from someone who's an expert within the healthcare industry. With a growing aging population, all of us, at some point, are going to need to search or access some degree of help or care for ourselves or for a loved one. So there has to be an easier and more efficient way to do this. And this is why Senior Care Connect was created. Senior Care Connect helps families in crisis find the best care options for their aging loved one. We're a compassionate service, as we genuinely want to help, and we understand the stress related to finding the right care. We're also professionally guided. So unlike when working with our competitors, you'll have the peace of mind knowing you're working with a professional social worker who has years of experience helping families navigate the healthcare system. And we've also created a web platform that can save you time by allowing you to quickly and easily search various care options all in one location online. Now, our current MVP focuses on one care type, retirement homes, and how it works is simple. You access the web platform, and you enter in what you're looking for and the type of help that you need. Based on your inputted needs, which will be more than the 3 options listed here, the system will then do a search, and then will display the retirement homes that best match your care needs, and you'll have follow-up by a social worker who will discuss those care options, as well as others in more detail. But our service doesn't end just there. If you were going to move into a new home, you would work with a professional realtor. So if you're going to move into a retirement home, why would you not work with a professional social worker? While many of our competitors will provide you a list of homes and say, good luck on your search, we offer you the option to work with a social worker who can do the research, arrange and attend the tours with you, and provide you guidance throughout the selection process, essentially acting as your retirement home realtor. So what is our business model? We have 3 streams of revenue. The first being commission-based, in which businesses will provide us a referral fee for referring our clientele to make use of their services. So for example, with our MVP, retirement homes provide us a referral fee for referring our clientele to move into their residence, and compensation can be up to a few $1,000s per placement. And we scale the business by recruiting social workers to do the work solely on commission-based salary. Second is fee-for-service, where customers have the option to purchase additional premium services, as well as for paid speaking engagements, where organizations hire us on to speak in workshops as subject matter experts on senior and healthcare planning. And the third is advertising, which is a future stream of revenue, where companies can advertise on our web platform to reach our end users, which is the coveted 45-plus age demographic, who account for 80% of the healthcare spending in Canada. So as mentioned, all of us at some point have to access some form of care for ourselves or for a loved one. So what is the market opportunity here? Well, in North America, there are 52 million seniors, and in Canada, there are 6 million seniors. And as our business grows, we will look to tap into these larger markets. But for our MVP, we're looking at a test market of the Greater Toronto area and the 9,200 seniors in the retirement home market. So what makes us different from our competition? Well, as mentioned, when working with us, you get the option of having a retirement home realtor, which is a professional who can guide you through the process and hold your hand to make sure you get the best fit for the retirement home that you end up selecting. Also, we're creating a one-stop resource. Now, as mentioned, our MVP focuses on retirement home searches. However, what we're working towards is we are creating a centralized portal where you'll be able to search various care options such as home care, retirement home, nutrition, therapy services, and other care services all in one location through our web platform. And also, professional guidance. While some of our competitors don't offer you any guidance and you have to do the searches completely unguided on your own, while other competitors will provide you guidance by their staff, but the staff providing the guidance are not healthcare professionals and are not in a position to be advising on such matters. When you're working with Senior Care Connect, you'll be working with healthcare professionals who have years of experience in the industry helping families navigate the healthcare system. So moving on to our sales forecast and marketing. So for year one, our marketing efforts are primarily going to focus on building credibility through public speaking, online contribution, and trade shows. And for the first year, we're looking at having one employee who's working full-time at 40 hours a week, estimating at a 30% efficiency rate. In the first 3 months, we don't anticipate any revenue, with steady growth throughout the year, with an average commission rate of $3,290 per placement, which would bring us to a projected revenue at year one of $270,000. As we move into year two, we look to ramp up our marketing efforts to have a strong online presence, so additional ad spend and search engine optimization, as well as through social media advertising, and looking to expand to have 5 employees so we could cover a larger geographical area and increase their efficiency to 50%, which would bring us at a projected revenue of $2.3 million by the end of year two. And as we move into year three, we want to scale our marketing additionally with larger scale marketing efforts such as print, media, radio, and television, and look to have 10 employees again at 50% efficiency, covering a larger area, which would bring us to a projected revenue of $4.5 million by the end of year three. So what type of traction have we been able to garner since beginning? Well, since beginning, we've been able to partner and work with several reputable organizations, which include Rivera Retirement Living, Living Assistance Services, Home Instead Senior Care, the Markham Stouffville Hospital, the YMCA, as well as other organizations. In addition, we've also already helped over 100 families through our consultation services, as well as through our educational workshops that we provide throughout the city. So where have we been? Where are we now? And where are we going? Well, in 2014, Senior Care Connect was born, and shortly after, we were able to launch the first version of our business, which is primarily a consulting service, which gave us the opportunity for some market validation, as well as starting to form a few strategic partnerships. And we also just recently graduated from the York University LaunchYU Business Accelerator program and are on the verge of launching the second version of our business, which is our MVP for retirement home searches, and looking in the coming years to extend our services to add care options to our web platform and extend into markets across Canada and eventually into the United States. So do we have the team to execute on our vision? Yes, we do. We've assembled a strong team with a complementary skill set. Starting with myself, Krista Lewis, I'm the founder and CEO of the company. I'm a registered social worker with my bachelor and master's in social work and over 10 years of experience in the field with expertise in senior and healthcare planning, and have worked with hundreds of families over the years to address the very problem that we're trying to help families with, which is finding care for their loved ones. Partnered with Taiwo McGregor, who's our co-founder, a serial entrepreneur, and has a strong technical background, and Dayton Hayes, who's the lead developer for our web platform. In addition, we have several advisors in other areas such as marketing, branding, graphic design, front-end web development, and healthcare web application, as well as support from some amazing organizations, which include York University, the LaunchYU Business Accelerator program, as well as the wonderful people here at OPN. So what is it that we need in order to continue to grow? Well, first, we're looking at to raise seed funding in the amount of $100,000 for 10%. And the funds would be going towards, first, marketing. We're looking at having marketing and a marketing budget and implementing a strategy in order to be able to increase leads as well as sales. Secondly, for product improvement, as we look to add to our web platform and shift from our beta version to enterprise version and add care options to our web platform to be searched for beyond just retirement homes. And third, for working capital. Again, my name is Crystal Lewis, and I am the founder and CEO of Senior Care Connect. Thank you very much.
Okay, that was great.
My hand hurts from writing.
Frank, you're up.
Okay, Crystal.
You got 1 minute.
Yes, Crystal, I'm going to throw quite a bit at you. I only got your name at the end. You never introduced yourself. So that's one thing. I love the personal side, especially that you showed female images. Most of the buyers that decide to do that in the care, if there's a sister or someone as a female, they usually make that decision. So that was great. Took a bit to get to about 3 minutes in before I really knew what you do. Okay? I feel it was a little canned, the presentation. Compassion, you have it on your slide. This is a very compassionate area, so I would ask you that. On the comparison side, I'm not sure if I actually saw the logo for Senior Care on there, so I was having a hard time trying to figure out which one were you. I don't think you were on there, actually. So that's that. Maybe you were that at-home realtor. The biz model, it was a little too fast for me. I don't even know what the premium services are. You mentioned them, but I couldn't follow what they were. That was that. On the team side, on the sales forecasting, don't please put sales and marketing together. They're not the same thing. Sales is sales. Focus a little bit more on the sales side. I don't even know what your sales are, but you have a $1 million valuation. I don't know how that got there because I couldn't catch what you said the sales were. That slide kind of flew. And then on the traction, actually, let me just skip to the team. I'm not sure I saw anybody there that actually had experience in personal support worker, nursing. On the social worker side, I get it. So those are my comments, and I appreciate allowing me to give you the feedback.
Great presentation, Crystal. I like the market you're in with aging population, so it's a great market. However, I believe it took you 3 years to come up with an MVP. So you started this at 2014. So it's a problem. So I couldn't get the sense that you have any revenue as of yet. So I'm not sure if it's an MVP yet. So you're kind of still trying to figure out is there any product market fit. So I would concentrate on actually bootstrapping and get some sales out of your platform so we can figure out what's your customer acquisition costs, what's your lifetime value of your customer, and then you can plan your marketing campaign out of it. So the problem took you 3 years to get to this stage, so you need to get some sales first and then go from there. That's my advice.
Great presentation, Crystal. Thank you. This is the second time I've seen you. I saw you at the Markham Markham Pitch event. Yeah. And so I've seen some evolution in your presentation. One of the things that did concern me is commissioned social workers. That bothers me. I think that a social worker, in my mind, is a social worker. And when the second you start integrating money into it, their motivations may not be as honest as what your motivations were when you started this. I also think the best salesperson that you have is yourself. And I think most people buy because of emotion. And I think you need to dig a little bit deeper into that emotion. What's driving you? You don't have to be everybody's customer. You just have to be the customer that are better aligned with who you are and what your core principles are. And I think you need to define that a little bit more. I think these other two boys here, they talked more about the, the funding and all that kind of stuff, so I won't get too much into that. I just think you need to better answer your why. What's your purpose? What is it they're ultimately trying to accomplish? So, and better articulate that in your presentation.
Okay, that was great. Thank you, guys.
Notes? Yeah, can I have a copy?
Okay, we're going to jump in and grab two questions from the audience. Who wants to jump in? Oh.
No pressure.
First of all, awesome presentation. My question is, I know that you being a a worker yourself, you know where the demand is and you have identified a demand and a product to meet that demand. But what actual market validation do you already have?
Well, market validation I've gotten is primarily through doing a lot of outreach, community fairs, trade shows, and presentations, and people coming and kind of expressing the need for the service. So I think, yes, there has to be more focus on the sales, but I've definitely had people come using the service. I think it's a matter of let's close the sale. So it's through people approaching through the marketing tactics, which has mainly been kind of outreach, where I've gotten the marketing value. Plus from kind of my experience working in the hospital system, that's originally kind of how this all formulated and how I saw the demand to kind of create this idea. So a bit from both. Does that answer the question?
Yeah.
Kind of? No?
Yeah, pretty much, more or less. Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Okay.
Hi, great presentation. I saw it.
Hi.
This is the second time I've seen
Okay.
it.
Hi.
I mirror the concern with one of the angels about the commission, and how do you ensure the integrity that your social workers are not going to recommend certain facilities versus other facilities?
Yeah, that's definitely a concern that has come up a couple times in terms of making sure you're not referring just based on the commission base. So one of the models that we had discussed with one of our advisors is we do have partnerships with Home that provide a certain rate, which is usually based on a commission rate. So with the social workers, looking at perhaps giving them a flat rate for the placement, regardless of which home it is. And this type of work is something for some social workers that they could do full-time, or they could also do part-time outside of their job, so it'd be additional cash for them. So just from the partnerships, I know other social workers, this is something that I believe would be of interest to them. Does that answer the question? Okay.
Okay, great. That was awesome. Thank you. Tim. Mr. Rover?
Yeah.
You're up, buddy.
How's it going, guys? Good? Love it. So, Jeff, thanks. Jeff asked me to come here today and give a bit of an update on Rover Parking. I've had the pleasure of pitching at Pitch It twice now. So, are there many people who have heard one of my pitches before? We have a couple. So, I'll go a tiny bit into Rover. I'll sort of talk about what it is for 30 seconds, but then, what Jeff really asked me to do is talk a little bit more about the experience that I've had thus far in starting Rover Parking and what it was like to start it, what I've gone through over the last 2.5 years, where we are now, and sort of where we're headed next for some of the entrepreneurs that are pitching today and the entrepreneurs that are here in the crowd that want to understand a little bit more about what goes into actually starting a company. Where is the clicker? Is that it? Yep. That's it. So very quickly, those who don't know what Rover is, we're essentially a shared marketplace for private parking. So picture your driveway, picture a small business parking spot, picture apartments, schools, churches that have a ton of underutilized space that they have no way to actually make revenue on. The easier way to say it is it's kind of the Airbnb of parking. So if you have a driveway and you drive to work from 9 to 5, you can rent your spot out from 9 to 5. If you have a small business that is closed on evenings and weekends, you can make money off it on evenings and weekends. Apartment buildings, if you have additional supply, you can make money off of that. So everything that's happening in the shared economy, in mobility, in changing how we're moving around cities is kind of leading to figuring out the best way to monetize underutilized space. And that's really all that Rover is doing. It's saying, hey, we have hundreds of thousands of parking spots that are sitting empty. Why would we spend $10 million building a new parking infrastructure around a GO station or whatever it may be? So we're sort of fitting into that niche. So happy to answer any questions about Rover itself afterwards or over a glass of wine. But what I'm really going to kind of talk about is, where we started. So, I started Rover out of my mom's place in, late 2014. I knew I wanted to start a business. I knew that starting a business requires a lot of time and a lot of capital, and I knew I had very little capital, and thus realized there was no way I was going to be able to afford rent. So, when you're starting a new business, there is a lot that you do kind of have to give up. I worked out of a coffee shop for about a year. You had to find a team. You had to actually come up with an idea and take that risk to actually go and do it. I mean, I'd imagine pretty much everyone in this room has sat around and thought of an idea over a beer with a friend. It's then that next step of actually executing on it, and that takes some time and it takes some guts. But when you do it, like, I'll have to say, you absolutely love it. And it took a year to really get the product into market and launch it. And that's sort of what we've been through. Starting, it was really tough. OCE is here today, and I got to thank them immensely. They were the first grant that we received. We got their OCE Smart Start, which was $37,000, which was unbelievable from the standpoint of getting the app actually developed. And I'll say to anyone who wants to start a company in Canada and in Toronto, there is an amazing ecosystem to help you do that, both from a fundraising standpoint and from advisors and pitching at events such as this. But we've been through launching a product where we had 0 parking spots on the map and no one downloaded the actual app, right? Like, you put it out there and you're kind of risking, like, are people going to actually use it? To today, where we have thousands of parking spots around Toronto and we're doing thousands of transactions a month. And getting there was a lot of ups and downs. You have to build a team. You have to find the right team members who are arguably willing to work for free at the start because you have no money actually coming in. But you also need to find developers. You need to find design. You need to find finance. You need to find sales. And you really need to build, more than anything, this team that can work really strongly together and kind of get on a common goal to sort of build the company. And we've kind of been through a lot of ups and downs through that, which has been a fantastic learning experience. Through that, we've also had a lot of accolades, and this is sort of where the fun stuff comes, right? We've been featured by the Globe and Mail as one of the most promising startups in Canada. We were a finalist in PwC's Vision to Reality Awards. We most recently won Infinity Automotive's Accelerator in Toronto, and I'm actually going to Hong Kong in 2 weeks to be part of that accelerator program. I was nominated for E&Y's Entrepreneur in the Year. We've been covered nationally in many different press outlets. We were a finalist in TaiQuest startup competition. So all this hard work and getting these grants all sort of comes to a culmination when you get some of this press and you get people actually starting to use the app and you actually start building a business. And where that really hit me and what was really exciting is what everyone pitching at these things is looking to do, and that's raise money. And I went through that whole process of sitting down in front of York Angels or in front of Angels One or in front of individual investors and pitching the product and pitching yourself and you as the person who can actually make this dream really come a reality. And when we raised $425,000, which was fantastic because it gave us enough runway to really build out our product both from a technology standpoint and a usership marketing standpoint in the city of Toronto. And that kind of gets us to where we are now, is we're now about to raise our seed round of $2 million to help us expand into Montreal, Ottawa, and into North America. So I'll be doing this pitch in a much different way to VCs, angels, over the next 3 months, sort of looking to raise $2 million. But that's sort of been our journey. I'll stop it at that. Love to hear some advice from raising standpoint, but also if anyone here has any questions in general about sort of the path from having nothing to starting something that can make real change and really have an impact and kind of scale nationally pretty quickly. Thanks.
Brilliant. That was awesome. Thank you. Do you guys have any comments, questions? Okay, you got like 30 seconds each because we got to go quick.
First of all, thank you. Fantastic success. I need 1 minute. Don't push me. Okay, because this is why we get up in the morning and why we do what we do, because of stories like this. I think what you're trying to say is vision without execution is nothing but an hallucination. Thomas Edison, right? Also, for the people that haven't got funding, the young men and women, or not so young, always say the best feeling is when you get the money, you start thinking, I'm not crazy, people really love my idea, right? And you can get out of your mom's basement. I lived there until 33, don't worry about it, okay? And then the bus, he spoke about the bus, how important it is, not only the right people on the bus, but the right people that believe in the vision. I am so happy for you guys. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great story. I guess it's tough to comment. I didn't know the metrics, but yeah, since you're planning to roll out and nationally, I think it's a great business, and yeah, I would love to know more. We can chat in private. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
You know, coming from the industry I come in, you know, to see that entrepreneurial spirit that you've possessed here, the get up. Every day, being an entrepreneur, you have to get up, and it sometimes is hard. The fact that you've been able to raise $500,000 and now you're looking for the next raise, kudos to you, young man. That's very, very impressive. If I could be just a little bit nitpicky, and I come from a promotional product, swag, clothing kind of business, your shoelace is untied.
Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah. Disheveled startup.
Okay, we'll take one question from the audience just because we want to keep moving, and we can tag Tim anytime. So Tim's a good guy, and he'll answer lots of questions. He told me he loves getting emails, so it all works out.
I'm just curious. You're on to your next stage of fundraising. At the first stage, raising $400,000. How much have you had to dilute your percentage of the business at that event?
For sure, we used a safe investment, which if you don't know it as an entrepreneur, you should really look into it. It's essentially a convertible note with no debt attached to it. So the dilution actually gets converted at the next round. So we essentially raised $400,000 at a $5 million valuation cap and a 20% discount. So essentially what that means is the people who invested in that round will get converted to equity based on a relationship to the valuation that I raise at next. So if I raise at a valuation of $5 million, they'll get converted at $5 million. If I raise at 10, they'll get converted at $5 million. If I raise at 2, they'll get converted at $1.6 million. So they get upside if you raise lower than the cap that you put in, and they get upside if you raise higher. And it's just it's a good, fair way to do it. Some people like it, some people don't like it. But the beauty of it from an entrepreneur standpoint is there's very little legal attached, so you don't have to spend time on legal, which was super great for us. Yeah, but I mean, from that first round, we diluted probably it'll be about 10 to 12% probably based on what we do our next round at. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks, Timmy.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, so one of the things that, and this will be a quick jump in, but we're always listening and hearing questions, and I always want to ask you guys questions and pick your brain because you guys are obviously working with startups every day. So one of the questions I had was, should a startup CEO take personal time? I know it sounds crazy, but you guys are investing in startups. Do you look at that and find out, like you reach out to one of your startups and he's taking a month off and he's traveling from whatever? Do you find that being something that doesn't fit in your mantra? Or you guys actually say, you know what, you guys need to be out there taking a break, clearing your head because I want you coming back charged and ready to roll. So where do you see that fits when you guys are investing in startups? Because I hear all the time, I just heard one today where I haven't been on vacation in 10 years. And I'm like, oh, geez. So what do you guys think on that side?
Wow, that's an interesting question. Should startup CEO take personal time? First of all, if it's a matter of health, yes, take the time. Because, you don't want to invest in a CEO that's ill and can't take the time. I also think what stage are you of your business? If you've got some good traction and you can take some time off, there's nothing like recharging the batteries, right? So I think it depends on a lot of factors. But if it's about health, look, I launched the company, as you know, I went from 5 to 50 million in 6 years, but I took a break after about 2 years for 3 months. Okay, but we earned it. So I think it depends where.
This question actually never came up to my mind for the last 5 years. I'm doing that, but I guess it's just we don't micromanage companies we invest. That it's up to the CEO to decide whether to take break or not. We advise and we kind of provide general directions. And in the modern world, we have means of communication. Even though if somebody is on the beach for a week, or they can still manage and do some work. Again, I'm not against it. I'm just we invest in people, right? So the people motivated and that really they in business, like they really want to grow it. So we don't really micromanage it. So yeah.
One of the things that I know about being an entrepreneur is the fact that you are working 24/7, and whether you're on a beach in the Caribbean or wherever, chances are you're an entrepreneur. So you're going to hear and feel something, and so you always have to be kind of responsive. Having said that, I didn't give myself a vacation for 10 years, and I ended up one of those cats that was in the hospital. And I remember Frank coming to visit me as I'm laying in the hospital bed. And it made me realize in that moment that, being an entrepreneur is it's a lifestyle, it's an attitude, all that kind of stuff. But it is so very important to take time and be, just to clear your head. When you're looking to invest, you don't want a cat that's, driving all the time. People have to recharge your creative energy however you find it. And you have to be able to, at the end of the day, get up and go to sleep and get up the next morning. And getting up the next morning, you want to do that with a smile on your face. So,
I like it. No, I think that's great. Thank you, guys. And I think what to summarize that is, and the reason why this question is, I think, is that we all have to realize that, yes, we're entrepreneurs, and this tag comes with that you got to work your ass off 24/7, 7 days a week, because you don't want to let anybody down. But there's always that moment where you do need to recharge. And if you don't, other things can happen. So I implore you to, while you're working hard, take a few minutes to calm down. And hey, I'm probably the worst at it, so but I do enjoy my time too, but I work a lot anyway. So it doesn't matter. But take some time, rest and relax. Okay, so we're going to jump into the next. Rabat and Santa, you guys are up.
Ribbit. Go Peterborough.
Just don't sit too close, it might bounce off.
Okay.
Oh, we got too much.
Should we do a check? Check.
It works.
Check.
Hope we're not too loud. If we are, kind of signal it, because we're normally very loud people, and with mic in our hands, not very good. Hi, everyone. I'm Sana.
And I'm Rabat, and we are Ribbit. Ribbit is a disruptive loyalty app that rewards consumers to discover and engage with local businesses around them. So by local businesses, we mean independently owned small businesses. So be it a coffee shop in Toronto or a salon in New York City, the 27 million local businesses in North America are the culture and feel of our neighborhoods. Today's consumers, especially the 100 million millennials, are actively committed to shopping local. But there's a major problem. These local businesses are challenged by bigger box stores. The Starbucks and McDonald's of the world are attracting consumers through their convenient digital platforms. Local businesses, on the other hand, are struggling with going digital because the current options available to them are fragmented, which leads to a lot of ineffectiveness and frustration for both the business and the consumer.
So to give you an example, this is Lindsay. She's the owner of a coffee shop in Peterborough. She opened up her coffee shop 3 years ago, and as her business has grown, so have her marketing needs. So for loyalty, she uses paper punch cards and is now exploring digital alternatives such as Flock, which essentially is a punch card but on your phone. For gift cards, she uses the same traditional paper-based system and sometimes looks for gift-buying websites. For special offers, she turns to traditional media or Groupon. All of Lindsay's efforts have the exact same objective: to get her existing customers to spend more and to attract new customers. But to do this, she's spending hours managing multiple different channels, she commits to monthly subscription costs and has the added responsibility of getting her customers to join and use each of these channels. So imagine 40% of her customers sign up for rewards, another sign up for her discounts, and some are looking for gift cards. It is exceedingly inefficient for Lindsay to be spending hours managing these different channels rather than managing her cafe, because that's what she knows how to do best.
Now, the problem doesn't end here. On the other hand is us consumers. As consumers, you and I have to engage with all these multiple channels to do simple things like buying and sharing a gift card, buying a special offer, or collecting points at a local coffee shop like Amusé. But the real problem is Amusé is only one of the local businesses we interact with. On an everyday basis, we interact with hundreds of other local businesses, each one of them having their own fragmented channels to do special offers, gift cards, points, etc. Now, as consumers, we have limited space in our phones to download different kinds of apps. We have limited space in our wallets to carry different kinds of punch cards, and we have limited space at hand. We have limited time at hand to navigate through or care about all the options out there. This increasing number of fragmented tools used by independently owned businesses leaves today's consumers frustrated, and we do not end up using these tools as effectively as we should be.
And this is where we come in. So we designed Ribbit to be efficient for local businesses and friendly for consumers. So as a consumer, you can discover local businesses around you, collect points in every purchase, apply special offers, and buy and share gift cards with the tap of a button. And the best part is that with every transaction that goes through the platform, consumers collect points that can be redeemed at any participating business. For the first time, we've aggregated independently owned businesses under a shared rewards program. So think Air Miles, but for independently owned. So whether a customer makes a transaction, buys a coffee in New York, or gets a haircut in Toronto, the points that are collected can be redeemed at any participating business. Having this aggregated consumer base is a plus point for local businesses because they can attract lots of different consumers at a single touch point. And the same for a lot of users. It is an incentive for them to join the platform because they can interact with multiple different businesses at a single touch point. Together, these small local businesses have the power to be the biggest player in this market.
Now we'll look at some of the other players in this space. There are lots of players in the local business marketing space. There's Groupon, there's WagJag, there's Vicinity, there's Flock. The list goes on. Each one of these players is solving a niche need in the local business marketing space. But together, they have created a bigger problem of clutter, fragmentation, and disconnect. We have 5 growth hacks that make us very competitive and give us scale like no other player in this market. Number 1, most of the other players in this space are offering a niche service. We have aggregated all the core offerings of local businesses in an all-in-one solution. Number 2, most of the other players in this space are charging monthly subscription costs, charging hardware installation costs, or are taking heavy revenue cuts. Ribbit is an open and free platform, which means that as a local business or a consumer, it costs you nothing to join our platform. We make money when the local businesses make money through a small transaction fee, which Sana will touch on in a bit. No one wants to wait for 4 days for a hardware technician to come in and set up your rewards program. Ribbit is a cloud-based solution, which means that if you're a local business, there is no hardware required, there is no setup required. You can simply sign up on our website or download our mobile app and start receiving customers right away. We do not serve big box stores and chain stores because they have their own integrated solution. We are exclusively for independently owned businesses because the very mission of our company is to empower independently owned businesses so that they have the same competitive edge like the bigger box stores do. And for the first time, we've aggregated local businesses under one shared loyalty program, which collectively makes them as big as any big chain.
So to add to that, we believe in keeping things super simple. So every time a transaction goes through the platform, we collect a 10% transaction fee. Now imagine collecting 10% on every transaction a consumer can make. Morning coffees, getting a haircut, or a long list of Christmas gifts. The market opportunity that we're sitting on is huge. On average, a local coffee shop in North America makes about $250,000 annually. With 27 million local businesses, we're looking at a total addressable market of about $675 billion.
Our goal in the next 5 years is to grow Ribbit to a $75 million company, annual recurring revenue. At that point, we're looking at exit scenarios of between $225 and $375 million. Now, that's our 5-year plan. We'll tell you a little bit about how we started and where we are today. So we started Ribbit with $5 and 5 days. At Trent University, Sana and I took part in the annual entrepreneurial competition. We were given $5 to start a business and had only 5 days. It's an annual competition that happens in universities across Canada. So while our friends were selling lemonade and popcorn, we wanted to solve a real problem. With our $5, we printed a small coupon booklet and went to local businesses in Peterborough and offered them a space in our coupon booklet for $150 fee to have a spot on the booklet. At the end of 5 days, we signed up 43 businesses and generated $6,300 in just 5 days and broke the national record for the most money ever made with $5. After this, we forgot about this, except these local businesses started coming back to us and saying, this was the best $150 I ever spent in marketing. When are you guys doing this again? And that was our aha moment. Our next logical step was to transform this physical experience into a mobile platform. So we launched Ribbit offering as a mobile app on Android and iOS where local businesses could put up special offers, and those special offers would renew every 3 months. We had 93 businesses participate. We generated $130,000 in transaction volume and $60,000 in revenue. Now, that may not look like hell of a lot of number, but in Peterborough, you got only 200 local businesses. So getting that market share is incredible for us. Our next step, we took feedback from local businesses and worked on improving on this product. We launched in-store payments, special offers, gift cards, and our shared loyalty program, which we just talked about. We then grew our team to 6 members. We have stellar team, Sana and I, 2 product developers, 1 marketing specialist who's right there, and 1 community outreach, and we'll be hiring 2 more people as we launch in Toronto in the next couple of weeks. We launched our seed round, which is we're raising $500,000. We've closed $275,000 to date, and we're launching in Toronto in the next couple of weeks, so watch out for us.
We believe that technology has the power to change the world, provided it empowers those who need it the most. Local businesses are making a comeback. People are moving away from the cookie-cutter experiences at bigger box stores and choosing what's authentic, what's made locally. Last year, for the first time, local breweries collectively sold more beer than the industry giant Budweiser. This is a trend that's here to stay, and Ribbit is going to leverage an untapped market to support this local movement. Tonight, we invite all of you to join us in this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Why don't we start with Pat this time?
You know, to be able to do what you did with $5, congratulations. The hardest thing is to get out on the street. So many of us sit behind our computers and our desks, and to see you guys go out there and take $5 and turn it into something, you know, if I could stand up right now, I'd give you a standing ovation. You guys, that is truly, truly remarkable. I'm just a little bit concerned, you know, the best 2 salespeople for this company are you 2. And when you start to scale this and start to take it into Toronto and all those kind of places, I just get a bit concerned. Are you going to be able to get those same kind of passions and the same kinds of excitement that you guys have? Because, you know, it's amazing, truly amazing.
Great story. It's you turn $5 into $6,300. It's amazing. Yeah. So I can, yeah, kudos. And I kind of.
I was just about to you take this 5 minutes before I leave.
Why don't you put in 25 and then we'll
Good sales. Sorry, I didn't.
Yeah. So I couldn't grasp the. So you mentioned you've got 130K in GMV and then 60K in revenue. So and you mentioned you got 10% cut. So kind of you lost me there. And also timelines. I couldn't get the sense where you guys started, and that's kind of to my concerns or presentation. But otherwise, great job, and yeah, looking forward to talk to you later.
Given that they didn't use their time, can I jump in on some of their time? Okay. So first of all, Ribbit, Sana, am I pronouncing it right? Look, I love you guys as jockeys. We've met before. So just a little bit of feedback. Great the presentation itself, you guys are great presenters. The deck, nice explanation of the pain, the Lindsay, and I would actually start with an aggregated rewards program for small business. I think a lot of people understand that. It was quite into the presentation. I noticed you ran out of time. Okay, you didn't talk about the team. The competition, I thought you did a great job in explaining it. The business model you changed. Because the last time I saw the pitch, and I came very close to investing in you guys, there is a different model. That's why I smiled, because it's very simple. So I think you did that. The 5-year goal of $75 million, again, to what Marat was saying, I don't know where you started to realize that you're 63,000? 130,000. 75 million, I mean, you know. And I didn't see a lot of, I share the same concern that Patrick had, is when you start going into Toronto, it's a big, big place. Do you have the legs on the ground to do it? The other thing I also wanted to add is just on the team. The last time I expressed to you that I wanted to invest, but I was concerned that nobody in the team had rewards experience. So I was hoping to see the slide with the team to have somebody that has rewards experience. As a matter of fact, I even I said that I would introduce you to the Vice President of Air Miles if you wanted that introduction as a potential exit strategy. That still stands on the table. And I'd like to look at you guys again about potentially investing.
Thank you.
That was good. Thank you. All right, questions from the audience. We've got 2. Who's got one? All right.
So I'm familiar with Vicinity, right, owned by Rogers, right? You have a huge multi-billion-dollar marketing machine behind them, right? Even if you have a better product, it's a tough thing to do to get market share. You need the right strategic alliance partnerships. So, you know, maybe my contacts at TELUS would back you, then you'd have that. You know.
Ian, that's a great suggestion. I like that.
Yeah, that's
Supporter.
fair. I think any business, when we start at the grassroots level, there's going to be pushback from the bigger players. Our experience with Vicinity has been a lot of local businesses. Some of the challenges that we pointed out, a business has to pay for hardware setup and a monthly fee and a single store loyalty program without knowing what the return is going to be. And so our experience in Peterborough, at least, has been businesses saying, this doesn't work, what's your better solution? And that's how we've come up with, we understand they're a bigger player and there's going to be challenges, and we'll have to fight them.
We'd love to talk to TELUS, though. So, anytime.
Okay, one other question?
So it is amazing. Obviously, I'm a little bit in the know with everything you guys are doing, and it's everything people want from, no startup fee, no risk. And from everything you're saying, there's no obvious downside. So what do you see being the biggest barrier for retailers launching your program?
Yeah, I can answer that. I think a lot of it, especially it's moving into Toronto. When we come in, it's kind of a lot of what you guys said. There's a lot of noise here, right? It's being heard and getting them to know about the product. That's going to be our biggest challenge, and which is why a lot of our resources, part of our fund that we're raising right now, or this round, is going to building that awareness, going to that marketing, that sales section, because it's getting that supply side, getting businesses to really know what it is when there's so many different people that are coming and knocking on their doors.
Okay, great. Thank you, guys. Dan, we're gonna have the OCE come up now.
Hey, do I get a prize for seeing you 3 days in a row?
I recognize all you guys. Who here has heard of OCE? Okay, not too many. I'm kind of surprised. Okay, good. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an commercial here. I got about 5 minutes. I'm going to tell you about OCE, and you're going to want to know about OCE because we can help everybody in this room. Next slide, please. Oh, thank you. There is.
What was
No, it's just not working. I'll get you to. So a little bit about OCE. So we are 30 years old. So you haven't heard of us, but we're 30 years old. We were created in '87. We were created by the Ministry of Innovation. Can you hear me? We were created by the Ministry of Research, Innovation, and Science. We were founded with the basic idea of creating Silicon Valley of the North. That wasn't the terminology we were using at the time, but that was basically the general idea. So OCE is a not-for-profit organization that is 100% funded by the province. Our core funder and our founding funder is the Ministry of Research, Innovation, and Science. But today, we're funded by almost every ministry in the province. Our core funding is about $33 million a year. Last year, we delivered about $250 million of funding. And this year, we're looking at delivering about $400 million of funding. And the difference between that core $30 million and the other $370 is every other ministry that's out there. And why they're using OCE is we've become a trusted mechanism for the government to advance their innovation agenda. And so that's our role. We're part of the One Network. So the province has 57 small business enterprise centers. Here in Toronto, they have something called Enterprise Toronto. And then they have 18 regional innovation centers. Here in Toronto, they have something called MARS. And then they have 40-plus campus-linked accelerators. So OCE funds all of the campus-linked accelerators, such as the Ryerson DMZ. That's probably the most famous example. MARS funds all the regional innovation centers. Most famous example, besides MARS, would probably be Communitech. And then MEDG funds the small business enterprise centers. Next slide, please. So as I said, our mandate is to advance the innovation agenda in Ontario and basically Silicon Valley of the North. This is how we do it. There are 40 individuals that work for OCE that do my job. We go out into events like this. We go out into industry, and we look for companies that are innovating. And we also are connected to every college and university in Ontario. My personal college connections are Trent and Fleming in Peterborough, yay Peterborough, Durham College, and UOIT. So we've got a kind of an Eastern... But someone like me that's connected to every university and college in the province, and we go out to the universities and we look for IP, we look for interesting technology that's being generated in the university system, and we help them spin that off into companies or connect them into existing companies or with licensing deals and so on. So I'm kind of a two-way bridge. I'm out in the community, I'm looking for opportunities, and I'm bringing companies into the academic system where they might benefit from R&D that the university system can provide, and I'm going into the universities to help them connect out into industry. We fund at a macro level and a micro level. At a macro level, I mentioned we're funding institutions, we're funding campus-linked accelerators, such as the Ryerson DMZ. At a micro level, we're funding companies. And at a micro level, this is how we're funding companies. We do industry academic R&D, and that's, as I've already mentioned, if a company is looking to develop something, or do research on the technology that they're working on, prove the efficacy or efficiency of something, we can connect them into the right university or college and help them pay for that R&D. I'm going to skip over commercialization for a second. We do entrepreneurship. In our entrepreneurship bucket, we're giving startup grants. We're providing funding to people like yourselves to help you get launched into businesses. And then on strategic initiatives, we're doing validation demonstration funding. And what that means is companies like you're past R&D, you have an MVP, you have a working prototype. What you don't have is a customer. We'll help you pay and help you secure that first significant customer. But what I'm really here to talk about today is the commercialization bucket. Next slide, please. And mainly our market readiness program. What you need to know about is our market readiness program. When you're going into the market seeking investment, OCE can actually co-invest in your company. We have two levels. We have a $125,000 level, and we have a $250,000 level. And at both levels, we're looking to match outside investment. And we're looking to follow the terms that you're offering the market. Next slide. Eligibility, you have to be an academic spinoff, or you have to be working with one of our campus-linked accelerators that I mentioned earlier. Here in Toronto, Ryerson DMZ, U of T has about 10 or 12 of them. So if you're embedded in an academic CLA, we can invest in you. Or if your company has come out of the university system, we can invest in you. Your company must be based on a technology or an innovation that gives you your competitive advantage. So we're looking for unique technology here. And it must be initially validated, ideally with a customer. You must be incorporated for fewer than 5 years for us to invest. You cannot have exceeded over $500,000 in arm's length funding for our 125 or over $1 million for our 250. I mentioned that we co-invest. And the stages at 250 and 125 are not related to how much money you're seeking. It's related to where you are as a company. So that's it. I think I went a little over. I apologize for that. Did the best I could. Thank you.
Very informative. Thank you. Okay, we have a quick segment. I'm not sure where that goes, but I wasn't paying attention. But you got to plug that in for the audio. How many people here are startups? Obviously, you guys are all entrepreneurs. If you had 30 seconds to do an elevator pitch in front of everybody here, would you be interested? So why don't we take the first three up? They can come up here now, and you guys can pitch the audience. Yeah, come on up, come on up. We need three. Okay, come on up. You're first. You got 30 seconds.
So my name is Aaron Chung, and my company Spindle Biotech is building a benchtop DNA synthesizer, which is a machine that synthesizes synthetic DNA. So we are in a synthetic biology industry where we use gene therapy to cure cancer and program organisms to produce biofuels.
Awesome. Make sure you talk to Laura. All right, you're up.
Hi, my name is Selber. I am the founder of Supply Expert. We are creating an online marketplace for construction materials. So basically the Amazon, eBay type of business for wholesalers in the construction field, going from electrical wire, plumbing pipes, lumber, stuff like that are not available on marketplaces right now.
Okay, awesome. Talk to Laura as well. All right. Yeah.
Hi, my name's Jessica, and I'm founder of Breesoles. It is insoles that does replace socks in all your barefoot shoes and summer shoes. So right now, everyone is using liner socks or no-show socks. Those socks are a hassle, and all the girls and guys who wear Toms for Men, they can agree. They go under your foot, so they're no longer socks. They're just like front padding. And you have to match them, and they take up so much space. Honestly, it's a hassle. So what my product, which I designed for over a year with a manufacturer, it's already designed. We're just in the engagement and sales process right now. And if you're interested, investment. Okay, no, I'm going to go over. Okay, organic, and it is really thin, and it's more effective. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Dan, just a quick question. Dan, on the not the OPN, on the getting funding, is it best that they get the angel investor or outside investing first, that you guys match it after, or you guys first and then the angel? I mean, I know the answer. Would you share that with them, please?
It's a great question. I would suggest that you approach us both together.
Okay, so approach both together. It's not one or the other first, and there's no downside. Perfect. Okay. Okay, did everybody hear that? Talking to both the outside and OCE. Really take advantage of OCE. Really. Thank you for bringing him actually, Jeffrey.
Yep, no problem. Yeah, I think it was a great insight. And if you guys are looking for more information, by all means, file Dan in the back there. He's a great source of information. Okay, so our last business that's going to jump up is going to be Flow Water, who you guys are familiar with because hopefully you're all drinking their product. So Nicholas is going to come up and he's going to do an update for you guys because Nicholas is also has been part of the OPN shows over the last year. Nicholas.
Thank you. That's a hard act to follow. Grease? Wow. Good job, guys. It's amazing. Do we have a deck up or? Yeah. So we've been sponsoring this event from day one. This is my first time actually pitching the event. The last 2 or 3 times I had my other hire. Oops, okay. I had my team present, so I'm excited to support Jeff and the team and tell you guys all about Flow Water. Next slide. The inspiration of Flow Water came from, this is my 11th company. I've sold the majority of them. I have only 2 left. And the one company I sold was Rabbit, and it was in San Francisco, and I sold it to Google Ventures and AMD, which is a chip manufacturer. And I was out there, and I noticed a couple interesting things happening in Silicon Valley. One, plastic bottles were becoming taboo, bad for the environment, bad for your health, and people were looking for an alternative. And I thought, let's put together an amazing Canadian mineral water together with a compostable, renewable, recyclable package, and boom, you have Flow. And I launched it 3 years ago. This is our 3rd year, and the reason why I'm in the water business is Flow's source is my family's artesian spring. It's been with us for 5 generations, and it releases a higher quality mineral spring water than Fiji or Evian. So we put that together with an amazing package that's renewable from compostable material, mainly paperboard and sugarcane. The caps that you guys are all seeing is made from sugarcane, which is super cool. And we released it in the market in 2015, and it's been on a rocket ship ever since. Next slide. The water itself is, as I mentioned, a higher quality than Fiji or Evian, but it's naturally alkaline. It's got a high pH, which has healthful benefits to the consumption. Mainly, it's alkaline, which reduces inflammation in the body and converts it into base. And it's got a high pH of 8.1 with natural electrolytes occurring in the water. So there's only one other water source in North America like Flow, and it's owned by Whole Foods exclusively. They bought the spring about 5 years ago. So we're very much a high-quality premium mineral spring water. Next slide. And we did a deal with Tetra Pak, which is a very large Swedish company that's leading the kind of environmental alternative to plastic or glass, using mainly paperboard, and we converted the top to sugarcane to make one of the most advanced technological package or vessel for any natural hydration product. Next slide. And I guess from a product market fit standpoint, we launched it 2015 May. Our first customer is Whole Foods, and we've been signing 500 stores a month ever since. We're at 6,500 locations across North America. We just recently launched with Whole Foods in the U.S., Safeway, and Amazon. So we pretty much reach every household in the U.S. and Canada. We've got Loblaws, Rexall, so on. And really, it's about going in and capturing international markets and building our footprint in the U.S. Next slide. Behind every great product, there's even a better team to bring it to market. So this is probably one of my best teams I've ever assembled. We hired the ex-president of Fiji Water to run the company in the U.S., John Cochran, amongst the national sales director of Evian to run all of our sales. And we've got a board of directors and advisors that are all investors in the company, ranging from Joe Jackman, who was the ex-EVP of Loblaws, CMO of Gap, all the way through to John Lederer, the ex-CEO of Loblaws, Joe Memorant, who probably everybody knows from Dragon's Den. So we've got a great team. It's probably a testimony to our hyper growth that's happened in the last 3 years. Next slide. So kind of our key milestones, we just recently built a 25,000 square foot production facility in Aurora, Ontario, so we can scale the company to north of $150 million in revenue and we're rolling out major distribution across all of the U.S. We have our distribution or trucks to deliver to over 20,000 locations, and we're at about 1,200, so there's a lot of growth opportunity in the U.S. And we'll continue to grow our Canadian footprint. We're at 4,500 locations currently, but we'll grow to about 10,000 locations next year. Next slide. Next year, we're launching flavored organic water. So we're mixing our high-quality mineral spring water with organic flavors, cucumber, mint, lemon, ginger, and really going deep into our vertical. It's quite a white space because there's a lot of carbonated flavored water, but there's no still flavored water. So we're expecting very large things from that. And then also continue to grow our U.S. footprint into conventional grocery as well as natural. And in Canada, we're going gas convenience. So Petro-Canada, Esso, 7-Eleven, which will really kind of broaden out to a 60, 70% market share in the channels. Next slide. Yeah, so in summary, premium water, Canadian story that hasn't been told globally in a while. So we're definitely making a lot of tractions because we have a premium water with an advanced package that's more environmentally sustainable. We've got an amazing management team, and we're experiencing hypergrowth. The company's been growing 400 to 500% year over year. We're going to close the year at about 3 million, and next year will be around 12 to 15, and we expect to continue that growth to about 50 million plus in 2020. We've injected about $15 million worth of capital into the company, and we just launched a $10 million funding round. That's a convertible note. That's a 3-year term with a cap of about $1 a stock. We're actually listed on the TSX private market, so it's actually much more of an advanced company than a startup. We're a little on the jumpstart stage, and it's a pre-IPO platform, so this is kind of our pre-IPO financing. But when we started this with Jeff is one of our original investors, so he has very good insight into successful companies and entrepreneurs. We were pretty much nothing with one truck and an office in Toronto. To kind of over the last 3 years, growing with Jeff and what you guys are doing here, this is kind of a testimony to Toronto's a great place and Canada's a great place to launch companies and to build kind of global companies from. And I don't know. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for having me. Thanks.
You hold that one because they're going to have some other things. Hold on.
You guys have some comments?
Was this a pitch or was this just an update? It was an update. Okay, because it didn't feel like a pitch.
We can. I'll pitch you right now.
No,
there's $10 million. We have $1.5 million.
Look, obviously,
$1.5 million done. No, it's just an update, but it's also obviously everyone's more than welcome to invest in it.
To one of the earlier folks that said they want to do $75 million in 5 years, this company here wants to do $50 million in the next 5, and you can see what they've done to get here and the kind of traction that you've had. 6,500 stores going to 10,000, 300, and like I said, you're targeting $50 million in sales. Right? You said by 2020. So I just want, when you're throwing out numbers in your pitches, guys, you have to be realistic and you really do those numbers. Obviously, the traction you've had is quite phenomenal. I would say, please, bigger font. I can't read it. Right? I can't read that font. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But even if I put my spectacles on, I'm still not going to be able to read it. So what's your ask?
Oh, well, we have a $10 million convertible note that just got launched on Friday. It's $1.5 million got filled out in the last 3 or 4 days, and we expect to close it by October 31st. So everyone's welcome to invest in it. The minimum's 25, and it's quite favorable terms actually. 8% coupon, or it's meaning it holds an 8% interest rate, payable cash or quarterly, or convertible into stock. It's a 3-year term, and there's a cap on it, or you can convert after 3 years you can get paid back entirely in cash, or you can convert at $1 a share. And $1 a share, right now the current valuation of the company is 50 cents a share, which brings it around a $23 million valuation. So you're kind of betting that we're going to do much more than just double the value over the last 3 years, or the next 3 years. We project the stock to be north of $3 by 2020 with a conversion price of $1. So that's the ask.
So roughly about 8 times your sales? Is that your 25 million?
Right now,
You said, is it 25 million evaluation?
yeah, it's roughly around 8 times. Yeah. But we value the company at 3.7 times the 12-month run rate in the future.
A great story, yes, great Canadian business. I'm actually familiar with, presentation. We took a look at the company before. We're predominantly in tech, that's why we kind of pass on it. And but otherwise it's a great business.
You know what's cool about the tech story about this? So when I started, because my background's tech, I actually had this vision of doing water subscriptions online, and we've just passed the $1 million mark in water subscriptions. So what we do is we built an entire platform on the back of Shopify and Salesforce and what have you, but we actually market digitally water subscriptions purchased month by month, or every 3 months, or yearly subscriptions. The most amazing part about this is we literally have thousands of subscribers, and the average subscriber is giving us $83 a month. That's $1,020 a year. What's the LTV on that?
Yeah,
right?
That's phenomenal.
This is phenomenal. We have electric vehicles delivering water, Vancouver, Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa, Los Angeles. And we do it all on our platform, all through digital marketing, digital activation. So, when I look at like conventional water business, which is home office delivery, we're really cracking into a new consumer base that wants to purchase online, and they don't want to carry water from a grocery store. So we built this whole platform, and we're literally launching this platform in Hong Kong now. I just got off a call today where we franchised it out, sent a container load over to Hong Kong, and they're using our platform to actually create the same digital subscription revenue from it. So from the tech standpoint, I would say that conventional CPG is all moving into this space of online with the Amazon acquisition of Whole Foods. Everybody knows that if you're not online selling products, delivering them directly to your consumer, you're finished.
Yeah, you're right. So the light is blurry right now.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be selling online and digital. So it's I agree with
But
you.
this is surprising me. Like, and I didn't tell you this, but I mean that we just crossed over the $1 million mark on online water subscriptions, so it's just fantastic.
This is an awful lot of fun. Just you're a pretty polished fella, and watching and listening to you and tell your story. I would have loved to, and this is just the part of the country, the part of the world that you're from, the artesian water supply that's on your family's plot of land. I'm sure there's a whole story behind that.
Yeah.
And I'd love to hear more about that story. I think that's just fascinating that you were able to take something that was a family passion and turn it into something that's quite remarkable. And
it's very serendipitous for sure. Jeff and I grew up in the same area.
Right.
That's how I know Jeff. I met him in high school. If you,
what stories do you really want to know?
Yeah, what do you want to know? You want to know the story about him in high school, or no? But but yeah, no, it's very serendipitous for sure. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Nicholas. That was good, buddy. Thank you. Okay, guys. So hopefully you guys probably got a grasp of. You're sitting there probably, why are we having updates and pitches at the same time? Well, at OPN, the whole principle behind what we've been doing, it's the Open People Network. We're trying to give back to the community so the community can learn from each other. And having companies like Flow, like Rover, come up and pitch where they've come from and why they're here, because that's inspiration. And that should give you guys the same energy to say, you know what, one day I want to be standing there pitching, but I also want to be standing there a year from now showing how much ass I kicked to get here. And yeah, that's really what it comes down to. So, you know what? It's kicking ass. That's all it comes down to. So, to all of that, I want to thank all of our sponsors for coming out. I want to thank the Angels. I want to thank you guys for coming out. Thank you very much for making this all work. And we look forward to seeing you guys at our next venue. Please meet some people, network, do all the right things. There's lots of people here that are really smart and they want to share their stories. So turn around, shake a hand, hug a body, do whatever you got to do. But meet somebody. There's lots of good people here. And hopefully we can get all of you up here one day and working with us as well. So if you want to reach out, you can reach me on LinkedIn at Jeffrey Potvin on LinkedIn, or my email is jeffrey@opn.ninja. And looking forward to speaking to all of you and seeing how we can work together. So have a great evening, network, and enjoy the wine and water and all that good stuff. Thank you.